Hi guys, welcome along this afternoon. My name's Lucas Rogers and I'm from the Rogers Property Group. I thought I'd put out a quick video today because I've had a lot of inquiries from people, first home buyers around the country looking to get started in the market, but are really concerned about the amount of interest and the amount of repayments that they have to make. And rightfully so as well. With the median house price in Sydney at the moment of about $1.2 million and the median house price in Melbourne at the moment about $1 million, the repayments on that are going to be very, very high. If you're looking at even an interest-only loan of around 4 or 5%, that's going to cost you $50,000 to $60,000 per year in interest alone. So that's well over $1,000 per week. So that can be a very, very expensive asset to hold. And if you're looking to get into the market in Sydney and Melbourne at the moment as a first home buyer, then while you'll have a home and you will save some rent, it's going to cost you a lot of money to hold, and I wouldn't anticipate that you're going to get any significant growth out of that property for the next few years. Okay, so what's the alternatives? Well, what a lot of smart people are doing at the moment is actually getting an investment property prior to buying their first home. Now, I know it sounds strange and our parents have always taught us, get your first home and pay it down. That's not always the smartest way to go. So as I said, what a lot of smart people are doing at the moment is actually getting an investment property. Now, what benefits does that have? Well, as I said, if you're buying your first home and you're spending somewhere around the median house price in Sydney or Melbourne, then you're looking at least, say, $50,000 to $60,000 a year in interest. Okay, and that's interest only. That doesn't include repayments as well. When we include repayments, it's even more. Okay, so that's a very, very expensive asset to hold. Whereas if you were to own an investment property, okay, you would get rent coming from the tenants to help pay back the loan, and also the interest repayments would also be tax deductible to you. So rather than having a $60,000 per year outgoing, which is non-tax deductible to you, meaning that everything's got to be paid back in after-tax dollars. So if you have an interest rate of 5% and you have repayments of $50,000 to $60,000 per year, then realistically speaking, you may have to make around about $100,000 gross to pay back $50,000 to $60,000 a year in after-tax interest. Can you follow that? So the benefits of owning an investment property would be you have rent working in your favour, you have tax deductions working in your favour, and that means to own an investment property first, that property is probably going to cost you nothing to hold. Okay, and if you're on a reasonable income, say $70,000 a year plus, owning an investment property at the moment is probably not only going to cost you nothing, but also put a few dollars in your pocket at the end of the week as well, because the majority are cash flow positive at the moment. So that's one benefit. The other benefit is it's also going to give you access to markets that you probably previously didn't have. Because if you're looking for your own home and you're living in Sydney at the moment, well, you have to live in that particular property, so that's where it's going to be. It's obviously going to be in Sydney. But Sydney is definitely, and Melbourne are definitely not the two best markets to be in Australia at the moment. Without a doubt, and ask any property commentator at the moment, Brisbane is the best market to be in. So if you live in Sydney, you're able to buy a property in, say, the Brisbane market and have a market where you're going to get continued growth over the next 5 or 6 years. So when it comes time further down the track and you are ready to buy your own home in Sydney, you're going to have a lot more equity to be able to put to that, because you'll have made some growth out of your property in Brisbane. So one thing, it doesn't cost you anything to hold that property. Two, it gives you flexibility in the markets that you can pick, so it gives you access to better markets. Three, you don't lose your first home buyer's grant. Okay, when I originally got back from London and I started working here in Australia, I bought an investment property prior to buying my first home. Then later down the track, when I did buy my first home, I was able to access that first home buyer's grant, which made a hell of a difference to my deposit. So you got those three things working for you. Great time to be getting into property in the greater Brisbane market. As I said, you're going to get all those things working for you. You're going to get access to tax deductions, access to rent, so it'll make the property not cost very much to hold at all, and also it's going to give you some really good capital growth over the longer term. So really consider that. It's a very, very good option to be able to do. So yeah, I wouldn't always just go out and buy my first home. I think that there's other strategic ways you can do things. Guys, if you've got any questions, you'd like to get in contact with me, please feel free to send me an email, contact the office if you have any questions. And look, if you like what you've seen on the video, please give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Facebook, and look forward to chatting with you soon. Thanks very much.